Your heart has approximately 40,000 neurons, its own neural network, sometimes called the little brain of the heart. The heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Research from the HeartMath Institute and others have shown directly influences your emotional state, your cognitive clarity, and your capacity for regulation. What that could mean is your heart isn't just responding to your emotions, it is participating in them. Welcome to What's Your Code, a space where we pause the reaction, read the pattern, and trace the belief shaping your reality. Because what keeps repeating isn't random, it's code. There are two kinds of people listening to this right now. Some of you feel everything. You walk into a room and something shifts in your chest before anyone speaks. You carry other people's weight without being asked. You've been told you're too sensitive, as if your body's ability to read the world around you is a flaw rather than a skill it learned early. And some of you feel very little, not because nothing is there, but because at some point your system decided that quieting the signal was the safest option. You're steady, you're reliable. People count on you. And somewhere underneath that steadiness, there's a body that's been organizing more than you've let yourself notice. Both of these are patterns. Both are your body's intelligence running a code. And whichever one you are, or maybe you've been both depending on the season of your life, today we're going to explore what the code is actually doing. Not to fix it, not to diagnose it, just to start reading it. Because your body has been keeping a record your entire life. And most of that record you've never read. In the last episode, we explored the life cycle of emotion, how a single feeling, one atom, becomes a molecule, then a cell, then a network, then an organism. We discussed how something that started as a single moment could become part of your operating system. But here's what I want you to sit with today. That organism isn't a metaphor. It's not a concept that only lives in your mind. It could be running in your biology right now, in your nervous system, in your heart, in your muscles, in the rhythm of your breath. The life cycle of emotion doesn't just describe how a pattern forms in your psychology. It might describe how they form in your body. And your body started recording before your conscious mind was ever online. So when we talk about patterns living in the body, this is not a poetic idea. This is physiology, and the research points to it. I'm going to share some research with you soon, and I want you to notice something, not about the research itself, but about what happens inside you while you hear it. Your body doesn't just react to emotions. It may remember them, not as memories you can recall, not as thoughts you can think about, but as sensation, as activation, as rhythm, as posture, as the speed of your heartbeat and respond to something that your conscious mind hasn't even registered yet. Have you ever noticed that? The way your body seems to know before you do? Every pattern we explored in the past episode, every atom that formed, every molecule that repeated, every cell that solidified into identity, none of that happened only in your thoughts. It may have happened in your body first. The emotion arrived in the body, the response formed in the body, the repetition was recorded in the body. And then, sometimes years later, the mind built a story around it. But the body already knew, and it's been organizing around that knowing the entire time, without judgment, without agenda, just faithfully. Now let me show you what it could look like in one of your most fundamental systems, your nervous system. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Stephen Porges developed something called the Polyvagal Theory. And what he mapped changed the way we understand the relationship between the body and the emotional experience. What researchers found is that your nervous system doesn't just have two modes, not just calm or stressed. It has three. The first is what Porges called the ventral vagal state, that makes us feel safety, connection, social engagement. The second is sympathetic activation, fight or flight. The body mobilized, ready to move, to protect, or to escape. And the third, the one most people don't really talk about, is the dorsal vagal. It's when the system feels like shut down, freeze, collapse, when the system decides that neither fighting nor fleeing will work. It goes still. It numbs. It disconnects. Now here's what matters for what we're exploring today. Your nervous system may have learned, often without your awareness, which of these states to default to. It learned through repetition, through the signal it received from the environment before you had language to understand what was happening. The signal, the pattern, identity. Not in the mind, in the body. If your early environment required constant vigilance, your nervous system may have learned to stay activated, not because something is wrong with you, but because the system did its job. It kept you alert. It kept you ready. It kept you alive. And now, in rooms where nothing is threatening you, it may still be running the same activation. Not because the danger is still there, because the body's pattern hasn't been updated. The code is still running. And you might feel it, not through thought, but as a hum beneath everything. Maybe as the inability to fully relax even when you know you're safe. That's not a diagnosis. That's a pattern in your nervous system, formed through the same life cycle we mapped in the last episode, an atom that repeated until it became the default state of your biology. Now I want to come back to something I asked you a few minutes ago. I said I was going to share some research, and I asked you to notice what happened inside you while you heard it. Can I ask you something? Check right now. Does something feel different than it did at the beginning of the conversation? Some of us have a nervous system that needs data, that needs proof. Maybe your shoulders settled. Maybe your breathing shift. Maybe something in your chest eased just slightly. And if it did, notice something interesting. That shift didn't happen because the information changed anything in your body. It happened because your brain got what it needed first. It heard data. It heard research. It heard credibility. And only then did it give your body permission to listen. Your current operating system says, think first. Evaluate first, then decide from the mind, not the body. So I gave the mind what it was looking for. And somewhere during that, the body got a chance to do what it's been waiting to do, settle. And that sequence, the one that may just have happened inside of you, that's part of what this episode is about. The relationship between what your brain trusts and what your body already knows, and the distance between the two. Now let me show you something that might surprise you. Your heart. Most people think of the heart as a pump. It moves blood. That's its job. But the research tells a different story. Your heart has approximately 40,000 neurons, its own neural network, sometimes called the little brain of the heart. And here's what's remarkable. The heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain does to the heart. Yes, you heard that right. Let me say that again. The heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Isn't that worth sitting with? Listen, that's not a metaphor. That's anatomy. Research from the HeartMath Institute and others have shown that the heart's rhythmic patterns, what's called heart rate variability, directly influences your emotional state, your cognitive clarity, and your capacity for regulation. What this could mean is your heart isn't just responding to your emotions, it is participating in them. It's part of the signaling system, and its rhythm, the pattern of its beat, changes in response to emotional signals before your conscious mind has identified what you're feeling, and your breath may do the same. Notice right now, if someone asked you to take a deep breath, you could do it easily, but when you're not paying attention, when a signal arrives, when something activates you, your breathing shifts before you've even chosen to respond. It gets shallow. It moves into your chest. The exhale shortens. That's not a failure of control. That's the body's pattern, moving faster than your thoughts. The atom that entered the system, the body responded, and your conscious awareness, arrived a few seconds later, wondering why you suddenly feel different. The body didn't fail you. It was simply faster than the part of you that watches, that is observing. And then there's the most visible one, the one you've been carrying with you wherever you go, without ever realizing what it's organizing. Your muscles, your posture, the shape your body takes when no one is asking it to be anything. Have you ever noticed your shoulders? Not right now, but in the moments when you're not thinking about them, how they lift when the signal, I need to hold this together, moves through your system. not metaphorically, physically. The muscles tighten and rise. Or your jaw. Have you ever caught it? The pressure between your teeth in the middle of a conversation you didn't think was affecting you? The pattern is quiet. Don't speak. Don't react. Keep it in. Keep it together. And the jaw organizes around it. Or your chest. The way it rounds inward. The posture that pulls the heart towards the spine. That makes the body smaller in rooms where it once needed to be invisible. These aren't random habits. These are the physical architecture of the pattern we explored in the last episode. The cell doesn't just live in the mind. It lives in the body. The identity structure, feeling like I am the one who holds this together, is literally organized in the shape of your body. And the body has been doing this for years, maybe for decades, without complaint, without needing you to understand why, just faithfully. Organizing around the shape of who the pattern told you to be. Now, I want to say something for the person listening right now who isn't feeling any of this. Remember at the beginning I said there are two kinds of listeners, some who feel everything and others who feel quietly. And if you're the second person, if your body feels distant or numb or somehow separate from the rest of your experience, I want you to know something. That's not failure. That's not evidence that you're doing something wrong. That might be actually one of the most sophisticated things your system can do. When the body sends a signal and the signal is ignored long enough or overridden enough or too painful to be received consciously, the system adapts. It doesn't stop signaling. It moves the signal deeper into what we might call the subconscious. For some of you, the brain didn't delete the information. It moved it somewhere where it wouldn't overwhelm you. Think of someone who lives with chronic discomfort in their knees. For years, maybe, the body signaled resistance, heat, and for years, maybe because of work, or because stopping wasn't an option, or because there was no one present enough to receive the information, they kept moving. The signal kept arriving, and the mind kept overriding until one day, the discomfort became background. Not gone, just quiet. The body didn't stop organizing around the information. The system simply adapted to being unheard. And this doesn't just happen with physical experience. It happens with emotional experience too. Deep grief that was never fully received, anger that was never safe to express, exhaustion that was never allowed to become rest. The body organizes around all of it. And when the conscious mind can't or won't engage with the signal, the system moves it underground, not to punish you, but to protect you. So if you're someone who doesn't feel much in your body, if the idea of listening to your body feels abstract or inaccessible, that's not something to fix right now. It's something to understand. The information is still there. It didn't disappear. It just went deeper. And recognition, when it happens, doesn't start with force. It starts with gentleness, with the smallest moment of noticing, observing, not demanding the body to speak, just letting it know, for maybe the first time, that someone is listening. Now here's the part that might shift how you think about awareness. Your body doesn't just organize around patterns. It reads the environment faster than your conscious mind. The neuroscientist Antonio Damasio spent decades studying what he calls somatic markers, the body's way of tying experience with physical sensation that then influences your decisions below conscious awareness. What his research suggests is that the body creates a kind of shorthand, a physical feeling associated with a past experience that then fires when a similar situation arises before the thinking mind has even assessed the situation. And research on interoception, the body's ability to sense its own internal state, suggests that the body detects shifts 2 seconds before conscious awareness registers anything. That might sound small, but have you ever felt what that means? The tightness before a meeting, before you even thought about why? That's not nerves arriving because you thought about it. That could be the body reading the signal before your mind caught up. That shift in your stomach when a certain name appears on your phone before you've decided how to feel. That's not irrational. That could be the body running its record of that person faster than thought. That heaviness in your chest when you walk into a room and something feels off, but you can't say why. That could be the body's pattern recognition, already reading the environment, already telling you something. Your body isn't behind your mind. It might be, ahead of it. And maybe the question isn't, how do I stop this? Maybe it's, what is my body already noticing that I haven't caught up yet? So here's what I like you to consider. What if your body is not the problem? What if it's not betraying you by responding before your mind is ready? What if it's not wrong for organizing around what it organizes around? What if your body is the most honest record you have? It can't rationalize. It can't pretend the pattern isn't running. And because of that, it might actually be your most reliable starting point for awareness. And if you want to find a pattern, maybe don't start in your thoughts, because your thoughts are already 3 steps into the narrative. Maybe start with your body, because the body remembers the raw signal before the story, before the justification, before the identity organizes itself around the response. The body remembers the original moment. And whether you're someone that feels everything or whether the signal went quiet long ago, the architecture could be the same. The life cycle may be running in both. Some people feel every atom. Some people don't feel the signal until it's already at the organism level, showing up maybe as chronic discomfort or exhaustion or withdrawal or the slow pulling away from things they used to love. Both are valid. Both are readable. Both are places you can begin. So here's what I want to leave you with. Not a technique, not a protocol, not something you need to do perfectly. I want to try something with you, and it's very small. If you can, notice your feet, your toes right now, not by moving them, but just by becoming aware that they're there. 5 seconds ago, you probably weren't thinking about your toes at all. Now you are. Nothing has changed in your feet except your awareness. And that is it. The next time you feel something shift, before you name it, before you judge it, before you try to understand it, before you try to fix it, just notice where it lives. What part of your body responded first? Was it your chest, your stomach, your throat, your hands? Because that's the signal. That's information. That's where the pattern enters. And that simple act of noticing, not analyzing, not fixing, just noticing is already a different relationship with the code that's been running. Because for most of your life, these signals have arrived and been overridden, pushed aside, talked over by the mind, and the body kept going quietly, faithfully. All it may need from you now is a moment of attention, not force, not fixing anything yet, just presence in the way you listen to someone who's been trying to tell you something for a long time. And if you're someone who doesn't feel much right now, if the body feels quiet or distant, that's okay. You just noticed your toes, and that is already something. That's already the beginning. Listen, your body has been keeping this record your whole life. Every signal that arrived, every response that formed, every repetition that organized itself into something that felt permanent, and every time the pattern ran and you weren't there to see it, the body was there, remembering it, organizing around it. Not because something went wrong, because that's what bodies do. They remember experience. They organize around it. They keep it available for the moment you're ready to look. And maybe that moment is now. So here's what I want you to carry with you. Where in your body do you notice something most often? A sensation, a tightness, a rhythm that seems to return. If that sensation could speak, what pattern might it name? And what might begin to shift, not through force, not through fixing, but simply through being seen? Your body has been speaking to you your entire life, not in words and sensation and breath, in the quiet feeling that something isn't quite right, or maybe that it finally is. Even when the signal went underground, even when the world taught you to live from the neck up and ignore everything below, your body kept going, still remembering, still organizing, still available. Maybe the question was never, how do I fix this? Maybe it was always, what has my body been trying to tell me? Thank you for pausing with me. Until our next reflection, notice. What's your code?